Oh, baby, we are live. This is the Honolulu Blues Show. I'm your host, Adam Stark. I'm with my boys, Julius and Nick. And today, if you're watching live, we got special guest, Ryan Matthews here. Ryan, how goes it, man? What is going on? Thank you for coming on.
It goes, man. You were lucky to catch me. This is a holiday for me. It was the Liberty Pro Day, so I had to make an exception though when I got the offer to come on the show. I couldn't turn it down, even on this finest of holidays. So, thanks for having me on, guys.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for coming on. We got a lot to talk about. We know you're a big Malik Willis fan, big advocate for that number 2 pick, and now might be seen a little bit different for the people that have kind of thrown you some crap or not bought in. So we're going to get to that, but there was quite a bit of news that happened, not just involving the Lions, but involving some other teams. And one of which is Davante Adams is no longer in the division. He's gone. He's not even in the NFC. He's in the AFC, so we may never have to face him again. Aaron Rodgers is one man down, so boys, how good does it feel to not have to face Davante Adams or Khalil Mack? They're in the AFC likely ever again. Nick, were you thrilled to see that Adams was gone? Because this was kind of shocking.
Most definitely. I mean, Adams has crushed us. He's a very talented wide receiver. As far away from Detroit as we can get him is great with me. And Las Vegas is pretty far, so I'm totally okay with it. I'm still not even sure that they're even going to go out and draft a wide receiver with either of these first 2 picks. Like, I'm not going to be shocked if they come away with like an inside defensive line and like a backup tight end or something. You know how the Packers draft.
They'll take a quarterback.
They'll probably take Kenny Pickett if he's there. That's just assured. So I'm very happy. I'm okay with it. I think Julius called it out last time, man. The Packers are about to be irrelevant in about 3 or 4 years, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, Ryan, do you think the door's open? Like, do you think this is our, kind of shot where we're stepping in and the Lions are opening, we're here, baby?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers would have had to leave for me to jump on that bandwagon. Davante Adams, eventually, the rubber meets the road, and the Packers have been doing so many gymnastics with the salary cap. And I know a lot of people think that the salary cap is this figment of everybody's imagination and can just be wiped away with, a magic wand. And you see what the Saints are able to do, and you see what the Packers have been able to do. But, when you have a guy like Davante Adams who deserves to be paid like the best receiver in the National Football League, because quite frankly, he deserves to get paid that amount. And when you see people in Jacksonville like Christian Kirk getting the money that they got, Davante Adams is like, I know I'm better than that guy. I know I'm much better than that guy.
Well, I'm glad it unfolded the way it did, even though Packers might get a nice little compensation out of that and help them out in the long run. But, not 100% confident that they'll make, slam dunk picks. So, Julius, any quick thoughts on Davante?
I'm glad he is not in the NFC North anymore because, he used to burn everybody. He burned Darius Slay. He burned all our good corners, let alone our bad corners that he went for like 200 yards on, like the Will Harris's and the Tease Tabers. Let me just not think about it. But
even Amani wasn't keeping up with him.
He's one of the best route runners I've ever seen with my eyes on TV. So I'm sure he's hard to cover in person.
One of the worst things ever I felt was Jeff Okudah game 2. And not that I thought Jeff Okudah was the worst thing ever. What I thought was like, oh boy, Davante is about to eat him up. And he did. Like, it was not great for Okudah. And I thought it was just a terrible, like, throw him in the fire, Matt Patricia style. And it just was a terrible mistake.
He had a tough schedule. It was like Julio, Michael Thomas, Hopkins, Adams, all within like the first 5 games.
Yeah.
It was tough. But some other news: Darius Smith stayed in the division, went to the Vikings, so that kind of stinks. But at least he can wreak havoc on Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields. David Ojabo tore his Achilles. Michigan man, that was a tough one. Ryan, do you see the Lions, eyeing him at 32 or 34 at all, or do you think he'll fall that much, or do you think he'll fall even more?
I think that he could fall a little bit further. I think when you have a player like Ojabo whose calling card was really his explosive athleticism.
Yeah.
You have a devastating injury like an Achilles injury that's really going to push you down the draft boards. And, a team that can afford to take a player like a Jabo is a team that won't flinch at losing a productive player within those first couple of days. I don't think the Lions can really afford that with the kind of needs that they still have after a rather inactive free agency, I guess, is the nice way that I'll term it. But it seems a little bit rich. I think that you could see him legitimately fall. Dane Brugler from The Athletic, I thought, had a good take on it. And he said anywhere between like 40 and 75. He really sees as kind of a sweet spot for a Jabo now.
Yeah, and that's the Lions, if we did take him, even like third, fourth, or whatever, it would be interesting because we already have Okuda and Okwara, one of the Okwara brothers, who have both torn their Achilles. So it's like, do we want to put all our eggs in the Achilles, recovery basket, or do we kind of just want to stick with what we have? So as a Michigan man, I wouldn't mind Ojabo, but Nick, any thoughts?
I think there's like a stigma on the Achilles, and I think Cam Akers is going to be the first to kind of prove that it's almost like what the ACL was back in 2011, 12, 13, when Adrian Peterson came back after tearing his ACL in December and rushed for 2,000 the next year. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, ACLs, you're not supposed to be back for 12, 13, 14 months. Believe me, I know, I tore my ACL. Now, the Achilles right now is like it's like a huge, it's, no pun intended, it's the heel of injuries. It slows you down. You don't have the explosive wherewithal, the get off that you used to. I think we're starting to get to a point where Achilles injuries are going to like see a quicker turnaround. Excuse me. I think the team that takes Ojabo, which hopefully is the Lions at 66, that's my goal. I think the team that takes him isn't going to get like where Jeffrey Simmons fell late in the first round, but had torn his ACL. He had a quicker comeback. We're still going to be a little bit longer away from that. He might not play his entire first year, but if you can take that risk, and like the Lions, who are rebuilding, who are not set to win this year, quote unquote, per every fan there is apparently, except for me, he is like perfect to come right in on 2023, right when we're there. We're here. We're here to be reckoned with. We are known, and now we're just getting Ojabo. Yes, we lost a year of his deal, and NFL is a business, and I get that. To me, I'm okay with drafting him, especially at 66. Not so much at 32 or 34, though.
Makes sense. A lot of trade action going on in the NFL right now, especially the quarterbacks.
All the quarterbacks going to the NFC.
It seems like, everyone's just getting traded. And, I forget who said it. It was one of the Lions beat reporters. It might have been Dave Burkett, but it was someone. And they said the Matt Ryan trade kind of validates the Matthew Stafford trade, in which that very well could have been our future, where we hang on to Stafford, maybe make the playoffs one or two more times, ride him into the ground, and get a third rounder instead of 2 firsts and some change. So, all in all, Julius, any of these quarterbacks did anything shock you with the Deshaun Watson 3 firsts, Baker Mayfield being shopped? Any comments on any other quarterback carousel?
He's got a comment on Deshaun Watson. Let's hear it. All muted Julius over there.
I knew that. That's what I'm gonna stop what I'm
talking before.
We're gonna start putting a jar out, and you got to put $1 in every single time you go to talk when you're muted. We'll have $100 by next week, and it'll be amazing.
I get myself so pent up too. It's funny. If you watch it live, I know it's funny. Listen, Deshaun Watson is no secret. He is good. He's a good quarterback. Okay, and I wanted the Lions. I'm glad the Lions didn't do what the Browns did. Let me just say that. All right. Because the amount of money that they guaranteed to him, I think was offensive. Literally, I think it was offensive on a lot of levels, and they have to win. They have to win, just like anything else. But if it fails, it'd be the biggest failure of all time. Even be bigger than if Aaron Rodgers fails in Green Bay, okay? They have to win with Deshaun Watson to make this worthwhile for the amount of money they guaranteed to pay this man. Through injury, through whatever, through thick and thin, they're going to pay this man $250-something million. And they're going to help him pay off all his legal fees because he's about to have them. And they're going to Wait for him to come back from suspension, whether that's 4 games or 6 or 8 or 12. And it's just such a huge risk that it's offensive. And I'm glad the Lions didn't do it. Even though I did say I wanted I wanted Deshaun Watson.
At that price, though, yeah.
If they would have did this, they would have gave away all their picks for the next decade, along with all that money. I would have felt some type of way. But I know Browns fans, y'all can get excited, but don't talk. Don't talk yet. Don't talk until it happens.
Where's Baker going?
Cleveland. Yeah, now speaking of Cleveland, where's Baker going? And the new report is the Browns are, their asking price is kind of high. So I guess, Ryan, what is the bottom dollar you pay for Baker, if at all, you take him?
I'm good on Baker Mayfield. I've seen what the Baker Mayfield experience nets you as a football team. And, the Cleveland Browns were willing to take such a gamble and such a risk by trading for Deshaun Watson, as, Julius was saying, that's how desperate they were to get out of Baker Mayfield. So I'm really struggling to see what kind of market he's going to have, especially with, like you alluded to, Matt Ryan getting traded for a 3rd-round pick, and for a late 3rd-round pick at that. So, I can't really wrap my head around what kind of market he's going to have, especially now that a lot of the dominoes have fallen. Marcus Mariota's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Wherever Jimmy G is going to go, I think that Jimmy G probably has a little bit more trade value than Baker Mayfield, just because he's actually had some success when he's healthy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we all agree we'll pass on Baker.
But I tweeted out too, I put Baker for a 66. I don't even know if Baker will go for a 3rd round. I don't know what team right now would be here's a 3rd round for Baker Mayfield.
I think there's a chance Baker Mayfield ends up a good quarterback in the NFL. But I don't want him to be on the edition of the Detroit Lions. He does not fit what we're doing here. So we don't need that.
He did fall into the Browns, which is like falling into the Lions. It is a black hole. There is not much you can do with that team, unfortunately. And it comes with being that team. The Browns, the Lions, they get the bad luck because the NFL forces it that way. That's a different conversation. I'm getting on a tangent. Never mind.
Well, besides Baker, Lions did bring a few extra guys besides the one DJ Charks signing we had. We went out and signed Garrett Griffin, likely just going to be TJ Hawkinson's backup. He did play with, the Saints and Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn, that little regime. So he's kind of got some chemistry coming from there. Not a huge splash. The two that I do kind of want to talk about are Chris Board and Mike Hughes. Board, solid dude from Baltimore, was a big special teams guy, was a guy that was looking for a chance and opportunity, and that's why I think he came to Detroit, is because he's got the best chance to prove himself. I think it's a 1 or 2 year deal, not exactly sure, but it's a prove-it deal. So, Ryan, any thoughts on these two guys?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Board, it really comes down to replacing Jalen Reeves-Maybin as a special teams ace who potentially has his way to make it into the rotation situationally. I think as a linebacker, I think that's probably his ceiling. And it's a solid pickup. It's not anything that really, has you jumping for joy or thinking, the Lions can cross off linebacker off their list of needs. It is still I think it is the premier position that they are in need of. Sans safety. I think safety and linebacker, you can make an argument for either of those positions on where they have a more immediate need. And I guess that really depends on your distaste for Will Harris. And I know he isn't very well liked around these parts, but the Mike Hughes signing, I think a lot of people were really quick to jump on and say, "Ooh, former 1st-round pick, a guy who bounced around a little bit and finally kind of found his footing last year," because everybody is citing the PFF grade. Where I think he was 17th out of so many corners last season, but you do some more scrolling along that tab and you see that he allowed 8 touchdowns and you see that he gave up quite a few catches in terms of his catch percentage. So, I'm warily, cautiously optimistic, I guess I'll say, about both the signings. They're solid situational guys.
That's what I feel. Solid depth pieces, if anything. If some bunch of injury bug hits the Lions again, but all in all, neither of those guys are going to be the Charles Harris or be the big splash. Julius, Nick, any quick comments?
Julius, I mean, Mike Hughes, I like it. Cornerback is the position that you can't have too many of, in my opinion. Yeah. Cornerback, edge, just bring them all in. I'll take every single one of them. So add them in. But to be all honest, I also thought cornerback was kind of where we sneakily had the most depth. So that's awesome. Let's just add another one in. Board should be good. I like him for his special teams. We'll see what happens. We just need him to make big plays in big moments down the stretch when we have injuries. He's not going to be someone that's going to pop out on the screen the first 4 or 5 games we'll watch the Lions. You'll probably forget about him. And then we'll start to see him make impactful plays here and there. You'll start to remember him. And it's going to be those big moments in the latter end of the season that you're going to need him to step up.
I think both Board and Hughes are low-risk free agent signings for what they are. They both can, like what Nick alluded to, help on special teams in major ways. And I think they both fit that kind of attitude that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are looking for in these kind of low-risk free agents. He's taking shots. But overall, this just hasn't been a very aggressive free agent period, big time for Brad Holmes. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong.
Do you think that's because Brad Holmes himself truly does think that this is a year to just keep developing and then next year spend big? Or is this what Brad Holmes is going to be? This isn't just, we're waiting for our right time. This might just be Brad Holmes, and we may never get these huge free agent signings with Brad Holmes as opposed to what we were used to with, Bob Quinn. What do you guys think on that?
Yeah, I kind of like it. If it works out, it kind of did so far. We tried to build through the draft, essentially, and it worked. We hit on Amon-Ra. Sewell fell into our lap. Levi, still some hope. And then Aline, he played pretty well. Derek Barnes also, some hope. But all in all, no one was like a flaming bust, which we've seen plenty of times before. So I like it. If this is the way we go and we can win, that's all that matters.
Amen. It's all about winning.
Baby. One guy I will say that I would love for the Lions to get, and he stopped by for a small interview, and the Lions still, I guess, aren't out of play, and that's Arden Key, a guy who was honestly had first-round talent. He was a big boy at LSU, was kicked off the team, though, dropped his draft stock dramatically, and he pretty much was, I think, a 3rd, 4th, or 5th-round pick, went to the Raiders, and the Raiders cut him. So when the Raiders cut a guy, it's bad. 49ers took a shot on him last year, and he finished with 6.5 sacks on a real cheap deal. So this is a guy that actually showed he's got a little juice left in the tank, showed that maybe he could be a little spark. So, Nick, we talked about him, I think, 2 podcasts ago. Are you hoping that Arden Key, says no to Jacksonville and comes back to Detroit?
Yes. First and foremost, Jacksonville doesn't need any more people. They've done signed everyone that was on the market, and they're still trying to sign players. I don't understand it. 2, I think we just lost all our Raiders fans with that dig at him right there. I caught that, Adam. That's real tough. But I love Arden Key, and we talked about it a couple episodes ago. That guy is playing to prove something is what he's doing. He understands what happened. He understands the money that didn't go into his bank account due to his off-the-field issues. He knows that. And I believe, I like to believe, and especially if he comes to Detroit and Brad Holmes believes in him, then I most definitely second Brad Holmes, that he is out to earn himself the respect very similar to what Charles Harris did. Now, I'm not trying to come out here and predict that he's going to be this breakout if we do get him. But Arden Key had 7 sacks last year, I believe.
6.5, yeah.
Charles Harris had 7. You know what I mean? Let's go. Let's bring him in. It really does seem like Aiden Hutchinson's going first. As much as we might not want to admit it, or as much as we might want to, depending on what side of that fence you're on, I just believe that if we get Arden Key, it will be very impactful, along with Romeo coming back, Julian, all the Okora bros, everyone. It'll be great.
Yeah, 100%. Ryan, any comments on Arden Key? Got any inside info on he might already be coming back to Detroit?
Yeah, I haven't spoken to any limo drivers or anybody who
Breaking
owns a big
news?
shop.
Oh,
Yeah, no, nothing on that front.
Oh.
But I will tell you that Arden Key, the thing I like about him is, there's been so much talk about the Lions transitioning from their 3-down front to more of a 4-3 in terms of the versatility that they want to bring to the to the defensive front. But Arden Key is somebody who plays inside and plays outside. He's more of a speed rusher in a way, but he also can get in there and mix it up. So I think that versatility might be really what is tantalizing for the Lions, especially as they move forward with, wanting to be more versatile, and versatile in the way that it's good, not versatile in the way that Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn always talked about it.
Everyone gets scared in Detroit when you say that now. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. They think versatility is this talking point that really doesn't amount to anything. It just amounts to more and more losses. But what we're seeing with Dan Campbell and company, though, is we're seeing them play to the strengths of their players, not reach to go get guys like Trey Flowers and Justin Coleman to fit a very particular scheme.
I actually want to just follow up real quick. If you do think we do go from the 3-down to the 4-down more so, do you think it would be, or I guess, would you predict that Brad Holmes, if Devontae Wyatt falls to pick 32 or 34, if we see like Perrion Winfrey, would we dare go after another inside defensive lineman after drafting 2 so early last year? Like, would that be something that we might look at?
I think it's a kind of a tough pill for Lions fans to swallow because, like you said, I mean, they spent, a second round and a third round pick on Levi and Aleem. And we know that Brad Holmes was so excited about getting Levi that he even thought about trading back up into the first round to get him. And to your point, like, moving from those 3-down linemen to 4, who does that come at the expense of? It comes at the expense of a guy like Aleem McNeil, the guy who played better than Levi Onwuzurike last season. And so I think it's a tough sell, but at the same time, I'm all about getting any Georgia player because they beat the brakes off everybody, right?
I threw a mock out there that had us drafting, I'm pretty sure, every Georgia player that was available, and everyone was ripping it. And I was like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Great defense. Get them all, bro. Bring them on. It'll be great. Yeah.
Plenty of guys over there. Let's hop into our mailbag before we get into a little pick 2 talk. We got up first. Any chance? We'll say, what chance do you think we take a first-round quarterback? Just give me a percentile in the first round. Ryan, I know you're a big advocate of it, but what percent do you think the Lions actually pull the trigger?
I'll give you my answer when I woke up this morning, and I'll give you my answer that I have right now. So when I woke up this morning, I think I was at like a 15%. Like and a lot, and probably 10% of that was my own optimism projecting itself a little bit. I think after the pro day that Malik Willis had, I really want to move it up to like 35%. Like, I really feel like it's totally dependent upon what happens with the number 1 pick, right? I think that's the biggest question mark. I think a lot of people have talked themselves into Aiden Hutchinson. And if Aiden Hutchinson is there, it's hard to argue that the Lions have, bigger needs at more splashier positions than edge rusher. I'm not on board with Kyle Hamilton at number 2. And that leaves you where? That leaves you at quarterback, and that leaves you at quarterback 1, and that it leaves you with Malik Willis. So I will say this, though. I think there's little to no chance that they take one at 32. Like, I would put it at like a less than 1% chance.
Guaranteed.
That's fair enough. And yeah, going back real quick to Arden Key, and I know you guys are like, why am I going back to Arden Key? But because he went to Jacksonville, he had that follow-up interview at Jacksonville. So if he returns back to the Lions, you got to imagine they told him, or he asked, hey, are you guys taking Hutch? Like, we play the same position. I'm trying to prove myself. Just tell me now. And if he comes back to Detroit, you got to imagine they say, yeah, we're taking him. But if he signs there for, any type of deal, I might feel a little bit more optimistic that they say, we're just going to beef up the defensive line. We already got Josh Allen. We'll pay him the big bucks and build around, him. So I think that might play a little role, so that'll be something to keep an eye on moving forward. But Nick, what are the chances that Lions actually pull the trigger in the first round on a quarterback?
Few things real quick. Shout out Justin for the question. I'm going to bring up something we talked about before the show. I'll bring it up on the show. Ryan and I actually come from the same high school, right? So we go to high school together. We actually took a journalism class together. I kind of forgot about it. Ryan was one who reminded me. Thank you, Ryan. But some could say that maybe it started where we are right now back, 12, 13 years ago, however long it was. Geez, I'm old. But the reason I bring that up is because there must be something in the water in Holly, because he took the words right out of my mouth. Okay. It's a 50% chance because it's 50-50. If Aiden doesn't go first, we're taking Aiden. If Aiden goes first, there's no way Brad Holmes pays up. And I'm going to say that word, not just drafts early, pays up to get Kyle Hamilton, to make him one of the top, I believe, 25 paid safeties in the NFL before he ever steps foot on an NFL field. Brad Holmes ain't going to do that. I'm so sorry to tell you. If it's not him, I don't think it's Kayvon Thibodeau either. Honestly, shocking to anyone and everyone who might not like this, it could very possibly be Georgia boy, Trayvon Walker. It really, really could be him at 2. Just be careful of that. That'd be a little crazy. Honestly, it's Malik Willis or Aiden Hutchinson. In my opinion, I believe that's who the Lions are going to be down to. Whomever is there, I think Aiden is top on the board. Malik is number 2. It is a 50-50 shot whether we take a quarterback in the first round. And just like Ryan said, there was a less than 1% chance we take Matt Corral, or Kenny Pickett, or Desmond Ridder with 32 or even 34 or going forward, in my opinion. It's either you get your guy at 2 or you just let go. We just re-signed Blau and we just re-signed Boyle. Now, those are the 2 big telling signs that it might not be Malik Willis, because we aren't going to go into the season with 4 quarterbacks on the roster, in my opinion. We did go into last year with 3. We've re-signed both of our backup quarterbacks.
Why have guaranteed money? Do you know? Because I know Boyle does.
Wait, what?
Does Blau have guaranteed money?
I hope not. What the hell are we guaranteeing that guy? I think guaranteed bench, freaking, whatever that's called. But no, I don't know. I really do think, though, regardless of who we signed, re-signed, all that, it's 50-50. Malik Willis or Aiden Hutchinson. That's what it's going to go down to. And we all know Julius, I'm on the Malik Willis.
I see you smiling over there, shaking your head.
Julius, let's get it.
The chances we draft a quarterback percentage-wise has to be less than 0.1%. And number 2, there's no way. Not Malik Willis. Listen. Let me give y'all some names.
How are you not in the Malik Willis train yet, Julius?
Might be before
I can't believe I haven't sold him, man.
Here we go.
We got one, Andre Ware. I don't know if you remember this guy.
No.
Drafted this guy super early in the first round. Dude started like 3 games, was a bust. I'm sure our GM at the time, whatever his name was, felt highly great about him. But I'll give you another name. You should remember this kid, even though you're probably like 3. Joey Harrington, Oregon.
First football card I ever had. Joey Harrington.
A lot of people say Matt Millen held this guy back, but no. Joey Harrington's arm held Joey Harrington back, and we selected him. Well, guess what pick? Number 3. Hey, listen, I don't want to make that mistake again.
Oh, how are you going to leave out Matthew Stafford? You're going to go through all our top quarterback drafts.
Stafford
wasn't great for Detroit, but I mean.
Stafford not in that group because Stafford won. Stafford
I don't even know.
Listen, I'm not about to abominate Stafford as a bust like those 2 busts I just mentioned. And I don't want Malik Willis to be a bust.
Yeah, exactly. Stafford wasn't a bust. So you can't be scared to go back to the well. Just because it didn't work in the 90s.
I'm scared,
you know what I mean?
Nick,
don't be scared, bro. I'll lead you, man. Don't worry.
Listen, when you got generational pass rushers sitting on the table.
Oh, that word, bro. Generational.
Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau, I think they're both going to be all pro. And honestly, Trayvon Walker, I like a lot. Honestly, the safety, I wouldn't draft him at 2 either. We can trade back. Malik Willis has to be Josh Allen to Brad Holmes to draft him at number 2. He has to be Josh Allen. You better know that he's Josh Allen, Brad Holmes, 100%, or you're going to get ran out of town. If he don't look like Josh Allen as a rookie, if we don't see flashes of it,
Billy Bean didn't know Josh Allen was Josh Allen when he drafted him. No one knew that we were going to get this Josh Allen.
I saw that video of him helping that person out.
Oh, that's a great pick.
He seems like a great guy. I've seen
he's a genuine guy.
Smart.
That's what I've been saying. When I went down to the Senior Bowl and I saw him practice, dude, that guy is the most. And then he was teaching Kenny Pickett. He was listening to Mark Brunell turning to Kenny Pickett, being like, "No, dude, you're not doing it right.
If you like him, trade back up and get him. Don't use 2 on him though."
I don't know if we trade back. I think that the team that trades to get to 2 is taking Malik Willis. He's going to be a top 2 pick. I guess.
While we're talking Malik Willis, unless Ryan, you got something to say?
Well, just to the one point about like the generational edge rusher. 2016 it was Joey Bosa. 2017 T.J. Watt fell through the cracks, but 2017 it was also Myles Garrett, and then 2018 it was Bradley Chubb, and then 2019 it was Nick Bosa, and then 2020 it was Chase Young, and I just think that edge rushers will keep on coming. And you look at the next one, the next draft class, you got Will Anderson. I mean, they're already talking about him being the number 1 pick.
How great would it be? We take Malik, we just bench him, say, Goff, pressure's on. If you suck, we're putting rookie in. And, Goff just can't handle it. Has another, 4-win, 3-win season. And Malik maybe gets 1 win. The Lions finish with 4 or 5 wins. And we're picking at pick 8. And we got our extra Rams first rounder. And we could easily push them together, get up, and get Will Anderson. No, it's lots of
Are we getting into the Malik Willis stuff? Because I'm about to bring up a bunch of shit. But go, Ryan. I see you're about to jump in. I don't want to be rude to the guests. Ryan, what do you got, brother?
To Adam's point, like you look at a lot of the rebuilds that I think people are holding the Lions rebuild up to, and it's the Cincinnati Bengals and it's the San Francisco 49ers. It's this like 3-year turnaround, right? To that point about surprisingly being bad after having a high draft pick where you get your quarterback. The San Francisco 49ers got Jimmy G. He got hurt. What happened? They were so bad that they lucked themselves into Nick Bosa. And then all of a sudden they're a Super Bowl team. The Cincinnati Bengals are so bad they get Joe Burrow. And what happens to Joe Burrow? He gets his knee blown out. And what happens? They fall into Jamar Chase and they end up at the Super Bowl. Like sometimes it takes some silly, dumb draft luck like that to just get things rolling. And I mean, obviously you have to draft right, but it takes some of that dumb luck sometimes.
And can't that be us? Can't our dumb luck be last year Penei Sewell falling to us is the most dumbest luck of all time? And then this year we match our 20-year left tackle with our 20-year quarterback. Boom, boom. Championship, ring it up.
It sounds great, Nick. It sounds great, Brian.
It does sound great, doesn't it?
Be the Lions. I don't know.
I do it on Madden every year. I don't get it.
I mean, we've asked that question for 65 some years now. I mean, why can't it be us?
But that's the thing is you can't be scared to go back to the well. You just can't be. You got to take these chances and take it. And if Aiden steps, this is a whole different story. But we're just gonna assume Aiden goes to Jacksonville, right? Okay. At this point in time, I mean, I don't know, with the way Kayvon Thibodeau handled himself at the combine, that lingers, man. That's lingering with me. And I hate to say it, we talk about these guys being Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell type of guys. Motor don't stop. They're Energizer bunnies. Kayvon Thibodeau, from like film, from honestly the combine, it shows that motor stops, man. That motor stops. It does. It's not like Aiden Hutchinson, where it's just go, 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 go. It stops. And it's not going to fit right with our scheme. I can't draft I used to be the biggest Kayvon Thibodeau fan, and just all offseason, all I've seen is shit to put me out. So I don't know. You got to take the chance. You got to take the leap of faith. You got to have faith. You got to have faith.
So you Malik Willis.
Dude, Limp Bizkit said it best.
What if the Jaguars call us up and say, hey, what's the least you'll take, or let's make a trade, swap up to 1. What will you give us? What
extra? To get Aiden?
Yeah, to get Aiden. What would you guys write?
The number 2 pick.
The number 2 pick.
The number 2 pick and a 2025 7th round.
Yeah, that's about all I'll trade up to get Aiden. I don't know if Aiden. Everyone hates Malik Willis because he doesn't have consistent, stats in college throughout his whole career. Aiden Hutchinson had 1 year, and they're like, well, he got injured. Well, all right, he got injured. I don't know what to tell you. He had 1 good year in college. That is it. So I don't know. It's tough for me.
Right now, the odds are saying for pick number 2, DraftKings odds. Kyle Hamilton's leading the way, plus 350, still kind of high. Then Aiden Hutchinson and Trevon Walker at plus 450. So they still think we have a better shot at Hutch over Malik, who is plus 500. And then Kayvon all the way down at plus 800. So he's kind of fallen out of 2, which is what we've been kind of seeing. Malik did shoot up to number 2. He was the leader for a minute, but Kyle Hamilton took that over. Haven't looked. I looked during his pro day, and I don't think DraftKings had it updated because I feel like plus 500 after that pro day. It's a juicy bet. Threw $10. I had to. And so, yeah, I feel like it might get a little adjusted. But, Ryan, plus 350 for Hamilton lead the way. Are you shocked by this?
A little bit. I think what's always important to keep in mind too, right, is that it's the draft odds for the number 2 pick. It's not necessarily the Detroit Lions making that pick because it could be anybody, right? So I was shocked because Malik was so low in terms of odds, like plus 500. He was like, I think plus 380, right? I think I maybe saw that the odds
had to have changed after the pro day, though. Pro day probably bumped it up to like negative 50, negative 150. Had to have.
Yeah,
that pro day was impressive.
Yeah, but I'm actually kind of surprised that Hutch is at plus 450. That might be the most surprising number, just because I still think there's an outside shot that Jacksonville still goes tackle. And they go tackle with either Ekwonu, if they like him and his versatility and his athleticism and his ability to kick in and play guard for a season while they figure out whether or not Cam Robinson's worth the money, or if they want to go with Evan Neal. I don't know. Like the people who drive me nuts on Twitter, though, admittedly, are the people who mock tackles to the Lions at 2 and suggest the same thing to happen as they lay there and wait for Taylor Decker's contract to expire in a few seasons.
That sounds terrible, but man, could you imagine Icky at right guard on our offensive line with Ragnow and Sewell and Decker and Jackson? God, that would be.
If the Lions draft an offensive lineman at 2, I will.
Hey, well, don't worry.
You're built from the trenches, Julius.
Evan Neal is plus 1,200. So yeah, they did update their odds since we were talking. So the new update odds, Kyle Hamilton plus 300, and now there's a 3-way tie for second place for the number 2 pick. So Kyle Hamilton first, plus 300. Then at plus 400, we got Aiden, Malik, and Trevon Walker, all 3-way tie. And then Kayvon fell down to plus 1,000. So I think it's between those 4. Does that sound about right?
There is no way that Malik Willis isn't drafted 2. And I'm not going to say that it's the Lions. There is no way Malik Willis, I'm sorry, what did I just say? There's no way Malik Willis gets past 2. He will be drafted 2. Like, that's, man, I'll put, I was so confident not too long ago. I almost tweeted out. I was real drunk. I was, just drinking a little bit. And I almost tweeted out. I said, for everyone that retweets this tweet, I'll give you, I'll give someone $100 for anyone who retweets it. Malik was guaranteed going to the Lions. Guaranteed going to the Lions at 2. Guaranteed. Like that's how confident. And that was after the Senior Bowl. You know what I mean? And still, it wasn't cool to like Malik Willis. Right, it wasn't the right thing to do. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure if it is.
I hope it's not. And I don't need bandwagoners coming on. I don't need them. You stay hating Malik Willis, please.
Hey, if Malik
Julius is true to himself, and I love it.
I'm fine with it. If we're getting bandwagons, that means Malik's doing something right. So
he is doing something right. He's doing everything right.
Aiden Hutchinson, I feel real quick. I feel about Aiden Hutchinson the way I felt about Penei Sewell this time last year. I feel like he's a player that if he is looking the Lions in the face, Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes will select him. And he will be an instant force on the other side of that line, just like Penei Sewell is on the offensive side. And it will be beautiful, and it'll be a beautiful part of the plan. And we could still trade up or get Malik Willis later on in the first round if we really like him.
You know what scares me about getting an edge rusher is everyone. So earlier in the show, if you weren't listening, Ryan listed off a ton of edge rushers that went like top, early, except for TJ Watt, who fell. Out of every single player he listed, they've all missed significant time with injuries. And it happens a lot to edge rushers. A lot more than it happens to quarterbacks, even running quarterbacks. Like, it just happens more to edge rushers, in my opinion. At number 2, I want a guy that's going to be on the field 16 games for the next 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, or 16 games a year for the next 20 years. Edge rusher, if you get Aiden Hutchinson, to be all honest, your window is not that long. J.J. Watt was a phenomenal edge rusher, and then injuries just derailed it. And that's a lot of edge rushers. Name, like, some really, like, those talented edge rushers that go long into their career. It's far, and it's just as rare as drafting that with the second pick as drafting a Patrick Mahomes with the second pick, in my opinion. There's so many chances. Why are you not taking a chance on a position that can win you the game? And I know edge rusher can win you a game. Like, I mean, I get it. The defenses do. I just feel like that's the old age NFL way of thinking, man. People are like, our defense is terrible. Man, we held 11 games. We held them 28 and under, right? So we scored 29 points a game. We'd have won at least 11 games, bare minimum. I don't even know the rest. At least 11 games. That's how you win in the NFL. You have to score 30 points. And Jared Goff ain't putting up 30 points.
Let me ask
you. He'll do it once every 6 years.
Can I ask you guys a quick question? I want to know all you guys' opinion about this. What do you think is more likely the Lions make the playoffs next year? If the Lions draft Aiden Hutchinson at 2, or if the Lions draft Malik Willis at 2?
Next year or next?
Next year, Aiden Hutchinson.
In the next 2 seasons. Would it be Aiden?
I would say so. But if you ask me for the next 8 years, I would say Malik Willis. You ask me for the next 5, I'd say Malik. That's my answer.
That's how I kind of feel too. I think Malik, just with the new era and what we've seen, mobilized quarterbacks, it just gives you that extra option where teams have to account for that. They have to put in the film, put in the work to account for a running quarterback instead of just pocket pass or keep an eye on him. So, yeah, I think Hutch would make an impact faster, but come year 2, 3, I think Malik would be the guy.
Malik Willis is that guy, man.
Yeah, that's my boy.
You got 3 Malik Willis.
Yeah, Julius, I knew it was going to be a tough battle for you.
This is the Malik Willis show on the Honolulu Blues tonight, folks.
That's true. I've been on the island, though, Julius, so good luck today, my guy. I'm ready. Listen, here, before we get right into it, listen to this. I tweeted out earlier today, and I went fishing for rebuttals. I was waiting for every single person in the world to respond to this tweet, and I was replying back because I knew no one had a good argument to why Malik Willis shouldn't be number 2. Some of the best responses I got. Hold on, let me read them off real quick, okay? Not enough production. 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions is not a good enough ratio at number 2. I need a sure thing. So I followed up. Name one quarterback that didn't go drafted number 1 that was a sure thing. He said, I can't. I said, all right, sir. Good. Thanks for chipping in. Next guy. Don't believe he's worth a number 2 pick. Now, I will admit, I've never watched any of his games, but I wasn't impressed by his Senior Bowl. Okay, thanks for watching 15 minutes of him and deciding the rest of his career. Thank you, sir. Good tweeting there, bud. The last one, I just don't trust Malik Willis. He looks like Jamarcus Russell.
Oh, yeah. I saw it.
That's racist. That's racist, dude. Like, get out of here. What are we doing? Dude, no one had an answer. Everyone just said because he's
Liberty.
not
and
Trevor
Lawrence. Who knows
Lawrence.
what Liberty is?
Because no one knows, because no one watched his game.
Exactly, and that's why I don't trust him. That last tweet that he looks like him. That was just racist. I would have blocked him, but he started off by saying I don't trust him because I don't trust him either. It's because he went to Liberty, not because he's black.
He went to Georgia though. I mean, he made. They say he got not Georgia. Auburn. Excuse me. And Bo Nix beat him out. The coaches like Bo Nix better. That happens, dude.
You know who else got beat out?
That's a red flag.
Justin Fields
Joe Burrow got beat out.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. Both of them, honestly.
That's a red flag.
Joe Burrow's. He's a superstar.
So I don't know, dude. I thought those were hilarious.
Power 5 to go to FCS. That's a red flag in my book.
Dude, Josh Allen goes to Wyoming.
I love
Josh Allen came out in no school, and the biggest knock on him, man. Mel Kiper mocked him first, right before the Senior Bowl, mocked him first overall. And I go to the Senior Bowl, and I'm hanging out with, Ben Albright and all the boys, and they're just like, Mel Kiper, idiot. And not to call out Albright. I fucking love the dude, and I love all these guys, and I'm not going to mention any more names. I just want to throw that name out there, you know what I mean? A little throw out. But they're all just like, Mel Kiper doesn't know what he's talking about. Respectfully, I don't really care for Mel Kiper's mocks either. But dude was like, Josh Allen is a great quarterback prospect, and everyone blew him out of the water. Josh Allen turned out that was in the same class. And we all say, wait for this proven quarterback class. Wait for the quarterback class. Next year's quarterback class is so proven. There's going to be 17 Hall of Famers in that quarterback class alone. Guaranteed. That with the previous one where it was all proven with Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen. Okay, Josh Allen went third of those four. Lamar Jackson went fifth. He wasn't even the top four. They wanted him to play running back. And I'm not saying he's great, but I'm just saying that you don't need the Trevor Lawrences of the world to win in this league. But you cannot win with the Jared Goffs of the world who throw it away on fourth down. You're not going to win like that, bro. That's not how you win in the NFL right now. Julius, I know you know what I'm talking about.
You're not going to convince the world that the Lions should take Malik Willis at 2. Listen.
I'm about to. I'm about to start the freaking wagon right now, bro.
I don't trust him. I don't trust him.
My thing is the way it is with the transfer portal nowadays, you're starting to see, and you're going to see it more, especially with the NIL stuff going down, just random superstars coming from, random ass colleges because they got that money just to go there because they pay that one superstar.
I take him at 5.
If you would take him at 5, you would take him at 2, Julius.
Yeah.
No, listen, I just.
Okay, so Julius, it's just Kayvon Thibodeau. So again, Aiden goes first, and it's Kayvon Thibodeau and Malik Willis.
Thibodeau is currently
you're
eighth on my board. He's 8th on my board right now.
So who the heck are you taking at 2? Didn't you say earlier you weren't taking Kyle Hamilton?
No, I'm not taking
Julius is praying for a trade.
Julius
I am praying for a trade. No, listen, I'm honestly praying for Aiden Richardson, guys. I know.
Yeah, that's good.
I think he's a future Hall of Famer. Go blue.
I think the NFL has a history of repeating itself, and we got boned out of Chase Young, who was Josh Allen. There was another one, I feel like, another edge rusher that went right before us, and we ain't getting Aiden Hutchinson as much as we all want him.
I'd be excited if we take Malik Willis at 2. I'd be excited, but I'd be so scared that I would be angry.
It sounds like Julius is coming on the Malik Willis fence.
You ever had so much anxiety that you're mad? That's how I would feel if the Lions took Malik Willis at 2. But I'd be excited.
I'll buy a Willis jersey.
I would be all for it.
I'm gonna. Oh man, if we draft Willis and say Willis goes out and does just win games, right? Wins them all. Ooh, I got so many receipts. Oh, I'm about to pull out receipts out the ass, dude.
I'm sure.
I got receipts.
Hey, dude, who's probably got more receipts? Ryan. I'm sure you can name off a few comments where you're like, oh, I can't wait till he steps foot on the field and just that first game can show people what he can do. Let's talk a little bit about the pro day before we wrap it up here. Obviously, Malik Willis, blew the top off. I don't know if anyone saw. Hopefully, you guys did. If you didn't, I suggest look it up. Just type in Malik Willis pro day on anything, you'll find it all. And he looked phenomenal. He was dropping dimes. He was making throws on the run. It seemed like he was doing it all. And what I like is he didn't make these throws at the Senior Bowl, in which they kind of had, not a pro day, but they did have drills, throwing drills. And we saw Malik, he hit the trash can twice. He didn't get it in, he hit it twice. So I really think he worked on his deep ball, and I think that's what he's working on the most right now. And I like it. That pro day just solidified my take on him going number 2. Ryan, all your tweets and takes as well has helped out. So what was the pro day for Malik Willis to you?
The pro day happened while I was at work, and it's kind of hard to keep my eye. Man. Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep my eye on the phone in my line of work. But when my phone just started buzzing so uncontrollably, when my phone just is buzzing so uncontrollably, and when I know that I have a guy I work with like Jeremy Reisman saying things about Malik Willis on Twitter, I know it's a big deal because he gets enough Malik Willis talk from me. He has for the past year and a half. Ever since I got on this guy, a couple Novembers ago, and it's just big, man. Like, because the Lions have an opportunity to take a guy who is just flat out entertaining and flat out fun to watch, and if you have any trust in what the Lions coaching staff can do for their players, and a lot of people talk about, the best acquisition that the Lions made last offseason was Dan Campbell and the staff that he assembled and getting Brad Holmes in place. Like, if you believe that those guys are the talent evaluators and the talent developers that they are, a ball of clay like Malik Willis, as a lot of people make him out to be, how can you not get excited after, I understand the tape is not the highlights, right? The tape is all the nastiness that comes in between it too. So, but watch Malik Willis highlights and try not to get excited. Try not to get excited about seeing some of that on the football field on Sunday for the Detroit Lions. I don't know how you can't. I really don't. And it was all, there was an exclamation point put on it today on the pro day because, like you said, Adam, the way that he was putting touch on deep balls. I think it was reported that he connected on like 64 of 69 passes, which is nice, by the way. But Malik Willis is somebody who he can come in here and he can just absolutely revitalize this organization and inject life into it in the way that there hasn't been in how long? I mean, it feels like it's been forever.
Calvin Johnson.
Realistically, it was just right before Matt Patricia, I feel. But it just seems forever because Matt Patricia was so terrible. Like,
yeah, I mean,
if you had to compare one mobilized quarterback, we've seen, plenty from the Lamar Jacksons to the Mariotas to, even kind of the Pat Mahomes. Who is his closest comp?
Yeah, I think Danny Kelly from The Ringer has the best comp for him right now. And it's probably going to cause Julius to crawl out of his skin. But it's Jalen Hurts with turbo boosters. Now, here's the thing.
I hate that comparison, dude. I've been bashing Jalen Hurts for the last 2 years, dude. There's no way. No way. I don't agree with it.
I think it more so speaks to Jalen Hurts' build. You look at Malik's build and you look at Jalen's build. These are two like very stout, tough guys that are power runners. Like, I don't think that he's a Lamar Jackson in the sense that like Lamar has an agility to his game that Malik doesn't quite have, but I think he makes up for that in his power running. And I think that is totally tailored to an offense like Dan Campbell wants to run. Like, I think that's a dream of his. Look at how much of a wet dream Taysom Hill was for Sean Payton. Like, we are not too far removed from that with Dan Campbell, right? And with, I think, the offense that they want to run with Ben Johnson there as the OC, like, I think that they want that kind of guy. Malik has way more arm talent than Jalen, though. Like,
there we go.
So that's where I think it comes into. And yeah, that's probably the best comp that I've seen. Anything else seems kind of lazy.
And I'm
Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson, like those just he's not them.
No,
he's different.
Not at all. I'm going to throw real quick a pop quiz to Julius and Adam. There's been one word I've said around Malik Willis all offseason. Can either of you tell me what it is? I've been saying it so much. We'll see if it resonated at all. Neither. Electric. The dude's just electric, bro. He's electric. It's the third downs alone, that he's going to be able to pick up with his feet are going to be so imperative. And it might be Jalen Hurts style where you don't see it until the fourth quarter. And then we see these big comebacks. And maybe we built too big of a hole and it might not be great. But he is going to get those third downs that are going to prolong drives. Something that Jared Goff just can't do. He just simply cannot do.
And I think, like you were saying, Ryan, he's just it'll be fun to watch. Granted, he'll miss, throws, he'll whip it over, Amon-Ra's head, and all Lions fans will, cringe, but he'll make plays where he makes a dude miss on 3rd and 8, gets some sick first down, and you're just like, wow, oh man, that was sweet. Jared Goff or, so many quarterbacks couldn't do that. So I like it. And then one final thing on Malik Willis was his interview he had with Steve Weich. He just was very composed and seemed like a guy that was ready to take over the league. You could just tell he had a leader's demeanor, and this is like a demeanor that Jared Goff just does not have. And I don't know if we were talking before or right during the beginning of the show, but Malik Willis is a dude that could go in. Actually, it was on Spaces that I was saying. He's a guy that could, at halftime, Lions are down double digits. He's a guy that could say, look, we can win this game, rally around me. Then you get Dan Campbell to come in, Mr., aggression, rile up everyone, bite their kneecaps off. And I just feel like those two would just have such a good chemistry, and they would sell seats. That's all I know.
Dude, also in that, like, to follow up on that interview with him after the pro day, I'm pretty sure Ryan just said he was 64, 69 in passes. Is that right? Ooh, is my phone?
I think so.
Close. Somewhere in that area. The first thing he said, Steve goes, Malik, how do you feel like you did today? He goes, I missed some passes. I missed some passes. I missed some passes. And to be all honest, if you hadn't watched the pro day and you just turned it in and saw that interview, it would have sounded like that motherfucker was Ryan Leaf out there. Like he was like, it was terrible. But honestly, he was lighting it up. And the first thing he thought of, I need to improve. I should have been 69 for 69. Should not have been 64 for 69. And that is the behind the scenes stuff that you do not see and or cannot read between the lines to understand. That's what makes this guy so special. It is not just him helping out a homeless guy after he gets a bunch of free merch from Nike. That's not it. What it is what I said earlier. Him listening to Mark Brunell and turning around, looking at Kenny Pickett and explaining it to him. Follow me. Lead me. I know you're my competition, Pickett. I get it. But don't worry. We're out here to succeed together. Let's all just be a freaking family. Let's be a team. I swear to God, this guy is going to change the Lions' history. And for us to avoid him because we're scared is nothing I can accept. For us to avoid him because he's got poor accuracy when it comes to down the flats and in crossing routes, very similar to what Josh Allen had. Spare me. Just because he came from a small school, spare me. I don't need all of this. Come to me with facts, watch the film, and tell me why you don't think Malik Willis can literally change our culture. Maybe he's not Patrick Mahomes, but gosh darn it, he's going to get us involved in games and down the stretch. And right now, that's all I'm really asking for.
He needs to be, though. He needs to be Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen. He has to be. He has to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league to make taking him number 2 worthwhile.
Hey, man, I'm ready to take that risk. Julius, I got to ask, from the beginning of the day, what's the needle? How much has the needle moved on Malik Willis at 2? Obviously, before the pro day, it's gone up a little bit, I can imagine.
His pro day, definitely, I was impressed. I haven't spoke about it much, but I was impressed more. His senior show, I was impressed. His workouts, everything, kind of checks off. It's just that it's just going to come down to, is he going to be an elite quarterback if we take him number 2?
We got Julius speechless over here, bro.
We'll get him.
We've convinced Julius and my dad. I feel like this show has been a success. That's 2 more people on the Malik Willis train.
Ryan and Nick. Ryan, by the way, thanks for coming on, man. I'm a big fan of POD over there. Thanks for coming on. I love your takes. You kind of giving some, great insight with this Malik Willis thing. You and Nick, y'all kind of double team me. I would be excited. I would. And I would be expecting I was expecting him to lead us to Super Bowl. That's what I'm expecting. I'm not seeing him mocked yet into the Lions still in a lot of mocks. Like
you haven't looked at my mocks then.
I'm seeing Trayvon Walker. I even saw a couple Drake Londons at number 2.
That's too much. Stop. Lions can never draft another receiver at number 2 for the rest of their career. Like, that's retired. That number 2 pick is retired for receiver.
Well, unless Calvin Johnson's son is just insanely good, 6'5", gigantic, and we get Calvin Johnson Jr.
The Las Vegas Raiders draft Marcus Russell Jr. and we take Calvin Johnson Jr. That's a good time. It's good times.
Yeah, well, Ryan, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Anything to plug? You got anything going on with Pride of Detroit?
Well, before the pro day happened, I was putting together my my third mock draft of the offseason, and I was gonna put Malik Willis at number 2, and I was going to kind of plant my flag. I've written some other stuff just about like draft philosophy and stuff like that. If you want to check it out over at Pride of Detroit, I talked a lot about why it makes sense for the Lions to take a quarterback at number 2 in this draft, and how it fits in with their timeline and stuff like that. But everybody over at Pride of Detroit does awesome work. Like, I know you guys are familiar with Eric Schlitt. He's been an incredible addition to our team. He's elevated, everybody's effort, and he's really improved a lot of things over there. And Jeremy's such a rock, man. He's awesome over there too. Follow both those guys. They do a great job working the beat. I mean, I think about all the way back to 2017 when we first got press credentials, and it was myself and Alex Reno who were trading off each and every week that the Lions had a home game, and Jeremy moving back across from California to come back to Detroit and bringing Eric in the fold. And, we catch a lot of flack sometimes for being a quote unquote fan blog, but at the same time, we have people that are in the building, and Jeremy and Eric, and they bust their ass and they do an awesome job. And we have so many other people over there who work so hard. So follow at Pride of Detroit. Lots of great things always happening over there. And as we lead up to the draft, there's going to be a lot of content. So yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on the show too. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a good hang.
Dude, it was great. I got to meet Jeremy down at the Senior Bowl in Mobile this year. Just a great guy. You guys do just a great work. And I swear to God, if anyone watching here doesn't follow Ryan, man, I read his first ever journalistic article, and I still think about it 15 years later. Just a great article back when the Tigers traded for Miguel Cabrera, and 15 years later, what a reunion. I had no idea this was happening, so I'm just ecstatic to be able to bullshit with you, and I can't wait for our future conversations, dude. Thank you so much for coming on, Ryan. Awesome.
Yeah,
Go Broncos. You know what I mean? Not the Denver Broncos. Calm down, everyone.
Yeah.
Holly Broncos.
CHOS.
Bronchos, as some may say. Yes.
Yeah. Well, not really Holly affiliate, but go Broncos. But you guys can check us out at Honolulu Blues _ on Twitter. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. Give us a positive review, a negative review. We love all the comments. You can check us out individually at Everyday FFB, myself, the Fifth Top Julius, and Nick at Nick Faber NFL. And then, of course, our special guest, Ryan Matthews at Ryan _POD. So you definitely want to give him a follow if you follow us. But, Ryan, thanks again for joining in. Loved all the Malik Willis talk. Hopefully we can get Julius on the bandwagon or the train, whatever you want to call it, by draft day. But
he's on, boys. He is on. Let's go.
He looks like he's going through it right now.
I'm on the
I've been there.
I'm telling you, that's what I want. That's what I want. But we'll see about Malik.
Hey, man.
Dude, the day after we draft Malik Willis, Ryan, you're coming back on the show, and we're popping the champagne. No, maybe we shouldn't pop champagne just yet, but we'll be excited. We'll have you back on anytime, bro.
100%. As always, go Lions.
Go
Thanks,
Lions.
man. Go Lions.